With this problem, the instructions just say factor. It doesn't specify to factor out the GCF. But as we do more factoring, we should always get into the habit of looking for a greatest common factor. With this problem, there are 4 terms, but there is nothing common to all 4 of these terms. There is no GCF. So when we see a problem like this that has 4 terms, that's one of the clues. We should think about factor by grouping. And by factor by grouping, what we mean is to group the first 2 terms together by putting parentheses around them, and the second 2 terms together. And then when we look at the first group, we can see if there are any factors common to these first 2 terms. You've got 10 and you've got 14, and you can factor a 2. 2 is common to both 10 and 14. And then you look at x squared here, and there's an x here, so x is common to both. And then you look here, there's no y term. There's a y term here, but not here. So y is not part of the GCF of this first group. So I can try to factor out, or I will factor out 2x. And if I take 10x squared and factor out a 2x, or as we've said in the past, if you take 10x squared and divide it by 2x, you would have 5x left over. And if you take 2x and divide it into 14xy, you will get 7y. And just to double check, what we're saying is 2x times 5x is 10x squared, and 2x times 7y is 14xy. And we do the same thing with the second group. We've got 15 and 21, and we can divide 3 into both of those. Bring down my plus sign. And, well, I wasn't done there actually. If there's 15 and 21 has 3 in common. Then there's x, but there's not an x here. There's a y and a y squared. So y is part of the GCF for the second group. So I write down my GCF, and then what's left over goes in the parentheses. I take 15xy, and factor out the 3y, and I'm left with 5x. And I take the 21y squared, factor out the 3y, and I'm left with 7y. Again, just double check. 3y times 5x is 15xy. 3y times 7y is 21y squared. Now looking at what we have is we've got these 2 terms have 5x minus 7y common. 5x minus 7y is a factor in this term and in that term. So the 5x minus 7y is the GCF. So we factor out that GCF by writing it down. 5x minus 7y, and make sure you put it in parentheses. When the GCF is a polynomial, it needs to be in parentheses. And that's GCF times, well, what's left over? When I factor 5x minus 7y from this first term here, the only thing left is the 2x. And when I factor it from the second term, the only thing left is a 3y. And of course, I've got to bring down this plus sign here. So the final answer is 5x minus 7y times 2x plus 3y. These are not quite as easy to check, but you still could check your answer here. If you use the FOIL method and multiply these 2 things together, you should get your original polynomial back.